Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video, and that's right, it's on Bombrush Cyberfunk. It's a spiritual successor to the likes of Jet Set Radio Future that came out 21 years ago. Now you're probably thinking, bloody hell Tony, this is quite a bold claim to make that this game is the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio Future, and I'm here to tell you why it is, and why it does it very, very bloody well. Now on to the topic of hand, and that's to talk about the game itself, Bombrush Cyberfunk. Bombrush is about anti-corp street gangs doing what they do best, to shine in a bleak dystopian future by skating and graffitiing their way to the top while sweet EDM tunes blast in the background. It brings with it a smooth new moveset for your skating needs while outfitting you with either a BMX skateboard or those old school roller skates. Hell yes. Now Bombrush really adds that flair I love about indie games, with its bold cel-shaded graphics, easy to learn controls, and an awesome soundtrack to really bring you into that cyberpunk universe. Now on to the developer, the amazing developer that made this game, and that is Team Reptile. They are a Dutch indie developer who was founded in 2011. They're responsible for the two unique Lethal League games that also sport those awesome cel-shaded graphics and funky electronic music. Though their Lethal League games have a very similar look to Bombrush, they are very different in gameplay, as Lethal League is a sort of pong fighting game where opponents fling a ball into each other until one of the knobheads is knocked out. Though the gameplay is very different from the likes of Bombrush, these two previous games seem to be the developers' first toes into that style of gaming, attracting the eyes of old school gamers who recognize the vibe and feeling from these games, and now have their eyes set on Team Reptile's real gem. And that gem, of course, is Bombrush Cyberfunk. Yes, now we get to jump into its weird and funky story where you're given control of a new writer named Red. He's on a journey with his new crew to get back his head and claim the old city for themselves. You'll be doing this by slapping their tags on every district and taking those territories off the rival gangs of New Amsterdam. I won't say this story is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but it's fun, goofy, and keeps you engaged as you piece Red's memory back together. Even though Red is the main character, everyone in your crew is playable. And you can add even more writers to that crew along the way. Though all these new writers play the same, you'll find a favourite that suits you, as there are over 20 characters in this game to choose from. But I will note only 6 are playable during the main story. Now I will come in here with a little critique. I would have liked a bit of more variety in how the characters were used rather than the look just being the only difference. Still, I do understand this would have been a huge undertaking, especially as you're given access to 3 different modes of mobility to get around with. What's that, Tony? There's 3 new modes of mobility? Yes, little Steve, there's 3 modes of mobility. They go from the likes of the old BMX to your skateboard to those fantastic roller skates. Yes, finally, 3 different modes, and they all feel amazing to use. Bloody good in fact. But the only real difference is how you look while using them, but I won't complain there, you look fantastic while using them. Especially as you flow through the city, grinding, flipping, and tagging up the place. The skating being very similar to Jet Set Radio Future, I think Bombrush has streamlined and polished the formula, as now you have a manual system to connect all your tricks together. Unlike in Jet Set Radio Future, where you must only grind to boost your score with no real fluidity to it. No real accomplishment, and goddammit, no real respect either. But, fellow viewer, it does not even stop there. You have 3 options for tricks in the air or on the rails. You also have a 4th boost option that really ramps up your speed and feels amazing to pull off. Now, speaking about that amazing boost option, there's only one trick you can do while doing the boost trick. So, to get that momentum, to keep boosting it up, and you want to do it because it boosts up your score, you look very much like a one-trick pony with no bloody skill set. So yes, I would like them to add maybe a few more tricks, as your 3 tricks are tied to X, Y, and B on the Xbox controller, to say. Whereas if you were to do the boost trick with X, Y, or B, it looks exactly the same. That's all I would ask, is maybe add a different one per button, so you can at least mix it up and it looks at least a little different while you're doing your trick streams. As you'll see in the background of my gameplay, you'll see me doing the same trick over and over again just to boost up that speed, and I just like it because the boost trick looks really cool and you get the old sound effect in the background. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other ways to boost up your speed, like hitting into corners or obviously hitting billboards, but they're very situational pieces as they are part of the environment, rather than tricks which you can do anywhere. So it would be nice to give me a bit more variety, as I do love the tricks in this game. They all look fucking sick. Even the basic ones, especially the BMX ones, are my favourite. Look fantastic. So My god, please add more. I would love it. Thank you. Please. Mwah. Yeah, sorry about that. But I will say, you want to, like, how do I do these boost tricks without being able to build a boost? Well, good sir, thank you, Steve. To do that is basically like Jet Set Radio Future. You collect canisters, whereas in Jet Set it was spray cans. Forget about that. That's history. Now it's boost canisters. That's all they do is boost. You could also just do it by basic tricks on everything. That's also quite excellent, and probably the main way you'd be doing it rather than hitting vending machines and ruining, you know, everyday workers' lives. Right, forget about those poor sods having to clean up your mess. There's one more mode of mobility. That's right, I was hiding it for you, little and you can now use your bloody legs. What? I know, it's crazy. Yes, that's right. No longer do you have to do these annoying jumping puzzles where it feels like you're on ice, because you physically can't take off your bloody roller skates. With this newfound feeling of having full control of your legs, you can start any new trick montage with an awesome boost flip jump. But it does not stop there, fellow viewer, as you can now use this jump to actually get to higher places, like secret areas with it as well, or just to hop over a fence. It's great. I love it. Thank God. When I first saw this and gameplay footage before the game came out, I sighed with relief, as I thought back to my nightmares of Jet Set Radio Future, that when I was playing as a kid, you know, trying to do these jumping puzzles to get to, say, collectibles or to unlock secret characters, and spending a lot longer than I should have been because I was rolling off stuff or felt like I was just on bloody ice. These new features are why I absolutely love Bombrush, coming from Jet Set Radio Future 21 years before. I was worried that this game would take too much away from what I loved about that game, but instead, it gave me everything I've wanted and streamlined the hell out of it. Now, on the topic of new features, you're probably thinking, why Bombrush is listed as a fighting game? That's with your combos on your feet can actually be used as beat-em-up combos. That's great, I know. Also, you can use spray paint finishes to finish off those pesky cops. I prefer the new combat system that Team Reptiles added way more than the Jet Set Radio series version. The old version was basically collecting spray cans and then boosting into the enemies to knock them down and then spraying them and stuff like that. It was very tedious and not really that fun, whereas at least in Bombrush it feels like you have skill to pull off these tricks, and each enemy having their own unique takedown is great. I like it. All finishing off with the same spray paint finisher, but different ways of taking them down, obviously. Now, speaking of these enemies, they don't just appear in the story like the old Jet Set Radio games. They actually have a wanted system in this game. Fantastic, I know. To escalate the wanted level, you can either graffiti your way around the block, or just beat up those annoying cops that you've pissed off along the way. Now, to lose those levels of notoriety you've gained, the process is very much like the GTA series. But instead of getting your car spray painted, you're spraying yourself in a porta potty. Yes, it's a bit interesting, and I will note some of the locations are quite annoying positions to get to, but with the new update, they're all marked on your map as well, so easy to find, thank God. As I said before, you're spraying yourself, and what I mean by that is you unlock 4 shaders for each character in there, and while you're in the porta potty, you can switch between them, is what I mean, you know. Good stuff. They look great, each different colours, but I would have liked a few more options, and especially with some characters get very much the same shader, just slightly a bit different, or alternating colours. Just give me a few more, please, thank you. Right, on to one big improvement in my eyes, and that's the graffiti system. It's a complete overhaul of the Jet Set Radio games. The best way of describing it is that you have these prongs that you wave wires around in a certain order, and they give you different outcomes of different graffiti, basically. You do this by using your thumbsticks on your controller, giving you a feeling of whipping around a spray can. Depending on the way you do it, obviously, I said before, will give you a different outcome. Very awesome. All the different combinations are on your flip phone, another cool little feature that I'll go into later. But honestly, really cool. I love this new graffiti system, and it's so fun to do. The only annoying thing about it, especially after the game, is when you're doing lots of graffiti out of the hideout, cops will come after you very quickly. Like, it takes 2 sprays and they're like, "What's up?" Also, you can unlock more graffiti along the way through collectibles or doing main missions. There's so much variety, they all look bloody amazing, and I would highly recommend. Oh, just please, Team Raptor, add more of these pieces. Most of this art was from submissions in a competition they did before the game as well, making each piece of art look so unique. I would have also liked a feature from Jet Set Radio Future where you could make your own, that sort of level. Obviously back then it was really basic, but I reckon you could add something really cool in a game like this. Though saying that, I doubt I could make anything on the level of these artists, so I can't really complain there. These pieces are epic and really sell the vibe of this game, and I really wish they had more, like I keep saying. That's great. Right, on to another thing the Team Reptile devs have improved upon, and that is unlocking your extra crew members, as now each character you unlock through the main game, side missions or challenges is easily accessible. Though some of these new crew members are more hidden than others, Bombrush does a good job of rewarding your exploration and curiosity, whereas in the Jet Set Radio Future games I found a few only naturally and ended up looking up guides on how to find the rest. Now, you could blame that on me just being a kid, but looking back on it, I remember there was one where you had to jump between 8 different bus stops to unlock a character in a certain area. How you're meant to figure that out with no instructions, I don't know. Whereas in Bombrush, you'll see them skating around, you just go up and talk to them, and then they'll give you that mission to unlock them, or you just happen to find a hidden area, boom, one of them's there. Now, you're probably wondering how you even change between these cool new crew members you've unlocked. And that's by busting it down on some checkered dance floor scattered around the city. I think this is a brilliant and engaging idea, as it adds to the artsy hip-hop feeling that the game gives you, and each character having their own unique dance as you select them really adds to their personable style. Right, ladies and gents, on to one of the main events of the game, and that's Bombrush's music. Like its spiritual predecessor, Bombrush has reinvented what cool sounds like in a video game. Cyberfunk's beats are a little bit EDM, a little bit hip-hop, and a little bit breakbeat, and a whole lot of dance. They even got the likes of Hideki Naganuma in there, just to give the fans of Jet Set Radio Future that extra taste of home. I highly recommend you check out these tracks on Spotify or a music platform of your choice. As you play through the main game, your mix will change depending on what story beats are hitting. Music in this game is so important, not just for the reason it's what the Jet Set Radio games did. It adds to your in-game experience as you feel every beat, adding to the tone of the game, immersing you as you skate and work your way through the story. Each track is also an unlockable collectible. You can either listen to them individually or unlock custom mixes that were tailored to parts of the story. There is not one track I don't like. Unlike its predecessor, Jet Set Radio Future, which had some odd tracks that could be deafening and take you out of the story experience. One really comes to mind, I believe it was called The Birthday Cake Song, and it's awful. Please don't listen to it, save yourself. Also, they were set to locations as well, so if you had a location that you liked, get used to hearing the same few tracks over and over again. But in Bombrush, you can whip out your phone and slap on that new funky beat you love. Obviously, you have to find it first, but you can slap it on wherever you want, don't you worry. I'll go on to my faves, which is You Could Say Hi by Sawyer, Big City Life by Kid Knievel and Paven, and The Operator by Girl. Now let's talk about the setting locations where you can take your new skates, and that is the dystopia of New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam has a very familiar look and feel to the old Jet Set Radio games, but brings its own take and vibe. There are 7 locations that the story will take you through. The first main location is the Hideout, which has a very similar look to the Jet Set Radio Future Hideout, though is just a little bit smaller with a bit more verticality to it. The crew you obtain throughout the story and side missions will roll up here and hang around the hideout. But secret characters obtained after the game do not, which is really sad because the hideout does feel very empty and the little gang you do get only inhabit a tiny part of it. It would have been nice to add maybe little skaters skating around it, make it feel a bit more live, like the other areas of just basic NPCs walking around and cars driving about. The other settings of the city can take you from the beautiful city centre of Millennium Square to the dark and luminescent nightlife of Matan, each section having a beautiful vibe and feeling coming from their design and backed by Bombrush's beautiful score. I do really like all these locations, which is good, there's only a few of them though, but none really stand out to be my favourite. Whereas I'll give this to Jet Set Radio Future, as it had 3 locations that I loved to re-explore and skate through, whereas I only really had one that I quite liked, which was Brink Terminal. The reason for this is when I'm skating around, it really feels like you can flow around the whole map with ease, and it doesn't feel like you must go a certain way like it does with Matan or Pyramid Island. There's also an amazing secret section here, which feels rewarding to explore. Though I may have complained about some of the districts, I do think each one is really awesome and all have extra unlockable areas you can do throughout the game, like I said. Brink Terminal has a secret area. All of them really do as well. So please go back and explore. The areas are all great. It's just I'm being quite nitty gritty here. This game is awesome. I haven't even mentioned the small things such as your sweet flip phone that you can access all your music and graffiti combos on, and you can take a selfie while skating. Oh, it's sick. There's also Benny, the taxi driver, who gives you access to fast travel system. He's also another little nod to our old Sega game that we won't mention. Crazy Taxi or something. I could go on. You got dancing emotes you could do just before you go into a combo trick. Oh, there's loads of little details I love in this game. Even just having the secrets where you could bust into a vending machine and just randomly get some skates one time, or each different mode of transport having a secret way to unlock certain areas, such as like a fire hydrant with a skateboard or skating on glass with roller skates. Right, now on to the complaining part, peeps. I will mention, especially on the Switch version, I had a lot of bugs at launch. Xbox, I know for a fact, all my problems got patched out, and I didn't really have any issues after that. Just to cut into the recording, I did notice in the background of the footage there are some visual bugs that they have not patched yet, mainly when you go into a porta potty and at speed, it looks like the graphical thing for grinding is still there on the floor. Bit weird, but I will note they haven't patched that, and that was there when I started. So yes, I was when they said they patched everything. Clearly there's some other stuff that I've missed. But Switch had loads. So I definitely would recommend playing on the consoles or PC, as you even get the frame rate upgrade, whereas you don't on Switch. It's a handheld system, so you're only going to be really using it, on travel stuff. So please get it on the other platforms or PC. I do not recommend the Switch. The bugs were quite annoying at launch. I had cutscenes cut out of me, or I had to reload the game, or crashing, especially on the Switch. Xbox, I had the similar things with Switch, where I believe Brink Terminal, I couldn't unlock all the graffiti, so I couldn't unlock the final character. I also had that final character not unlocked because he had no voice. That was weird. But everything's been patched since when I've gone back to re-record everything. They've even added extra stuff which I like. Oh, it's great. Like I said before, with the porta potties have been added to the map. Also the fast travel pips have been added to the map, which was really annoying to find before, but now it's a breeze to find. Oh, I could go on. They added the checkered squares, the hideouts, so you can actually switch characters there from the secret ones, because obviously they don't wait about. They've added lots, and I hope they keep adding more because I really do like this game. There is only one DLC out, which is the Lethal League characters, which again, great, would recommend. 4 good for 2 characters with varying different styles. Wow, beautiful, love it. But to complain, there was quite a few bugs. They have been patched on the systems I play. I would check out patch notes before you go on to anything though. But they did take away from my experience, especially on the Switch. I did love this game to pieces though, so I pushed through and I played it through twice. Now on to just the little critiques I had with the game, not like bugs or anything. So say with collectibles, some are listed on the map, such as graffiti, some are not, such as skates and stuff. Now with skates, you could tell how many you were missing because when you went back to the hideout to switch, you'd have the question mark ones. But with everything else, like extra graffiti, music, it's not marked on the map, not at all. There is a little stuff counter now, though, that they did not have before, which I appreciate them adding, which will tell you how much you're missing in an area, but will not tell you the location. I would like collectible maps, or something like that, because half the time if you're someone, you're just gonna be looking it up anyway. So maybe just give the option in the game to unlock the collectible map and then have the hardcore people just go in and find everything through the bit and grit. But I would just like a collectible map. I want the extra stuff. I mean, the amount of effort that's gone into this extra stuff, just give it to me please, thank you. I will say one of my biggest critiques of this game is the basic tutorial system, as you get a very good basic tutorial at the start of the game at the police station, but after that every other new information is texted to you rather than explained to you. You get some stuff through character interactions with the Franks, with the hitting into corners and stuff, but the rest is really not told to you. I would like it all to be told to you through the character interactions rather than a few texts from Bell and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but yeah, they text you the rest of the combos throughout the game. You get some stuff from competing against the other gangs, but that's about it. Now on to the main topic of hand. Is Jet Set Radio Future the better game? No, of course it's not. It's a game that came out 20 years ago. At this point, a spiritual successor needed to come out because Sega lost that IP for some reason, or just didn't want to do anything with it. Yes, hello again. Jumping back to the video, Sega just announced all the remakes at the Game Awards, so I feel like I should add a little note in here. Doesn't look like it's going to be my cup of tea, as they're really straying away from the design I love, which is the really bold, cel-shaded graphics. I love that design. I feel like it's a very timeless design. I'm saying Jet Set Radio Future really does last till this point. I love that game. I hope they do Jet Set Radio Future. For God's sake, I've been waiting long enough just to be able to play it on a different platform. Anyways, back to the video. Which is a shame, because Jet Set Radio Future was an amazing game. But it came out 20 years ago, and I could not recommend that game over this one, which improves upon every factor I wanted. If for God's sake, it gives you goddamn access to your legs. Bombrush is an amazing game, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who loved Jet Set Radio, especially Jet Set Radio Future. I mean, it's set in the, the deep, bleak dystopian future of a cyberpunk universe. The character designs of this game, fantastic. You get BMX skateboards now. The combo system is just like a Tony Hawk game, but easier to access and, not as punishing. It feels really fun to play and really quite relaxing to play as well. It's a very chill game to pick up and go into. I could not recommend it more. It's only around 40 quid as well. I believe it's like 35 quid I picked it up for on both Switch and Xbox, so it's around probably $40 at my reckoning. I don't really know. But honestly, it's an amazing game, and I could not recommend it more. If it's on sale, I would highly recommend picking it up. I wish it would come to get like a system like Game Pass so it could push it up more. But I saw like a brain dead take ages ago on Instagram of someone saying Jet Set Radio Future was the better game and you should just skip this thing, and didn't actually go into any of the new features that Bombrush had added. So I don't even think they played the game. I just think they were just angry someone tried to step up to the plate, But thank God Team Reptile did, because I've been waiting long enough for a sequel, and my God did they nail it. So thank you to all those devs that did it, because I've been waiting too long for this game, and I was more than happy to play it. I bought your game twice. I bought it on a Switch because I was impatient, and then I bought it on Xbox, the better platform. I hope Team Reptile keeps adding to this series now, with either DLCs or a sequel in the future, as honestly, they nailed every part of it I wanted. They kept the stuff I loved about Jet Set Radio Future and just, streamlined the hell out of the rest to make it fun and engaging. Thank you, viewer, for sticking around and watching the full video. I do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and ta-ta for now. See you again soon.